In 2020, you're locked inside your house, following your government's efforts to stop the spread of a fatal virus. And in future years, I hope that the virus stopped spreading, and that now you're free to go out and enjoy the world. Now lockdowns have been some of the most strict and challenging things that most of us had to go through. Thanks to the fact that a lot of people were in their houses, the wild animal kingdom took over the streets of the cities and a lot of other places that are usually crowded by humans. Today we'll be looking at top 15 wild animals caught on camera during lockdown. Before we begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button to get notification every day for more amazing content. Kangaroo in Australia. A kangaroo has been spotted hopping through the streets of an empty Australian city during the country's lockdown over the coronavirus pandemic. Animals have been spotted roaming around in public in other countries, including kangaroo running through streets. The police informed in good humor that the kangaroo was last seen venturing into the wet parklands. This is a prized green belt of the capital of South Australian state. The CCTV footage showed the kangaroo narrowly avoiding crashing into a lone car on the road. A police officer stated that they sometimes spot kangaroos in the suburbs, but never in the center of the city. But the kangaroo seemed to have a lovely time, hopping as fast it could along the empty streets, which was really amusing for netizens. Wild boars in Israeli city. They are not really threatening. Wild boars and humans prefer to stay at a distance from each other. Usually wild boars would sneak into Haifa and search for food in the different restaurant dumpsters around town. But when the lockdown started, more wild boars began to show up, and since the restaurants were closed, the wild boars began to feast on people's trash cans. The amount of wild boars was so high that Haifa's authorities had to have a Zoom meeting to address the problem. They surely love animals, but they didn't want them to disturb people's neighborhoods. But not all the people seemed to care. Many of them actually provided meals to the boars, which of course, the government was not approving of. But what can you do when you love animals and they come to you? Of course you want to pet and feed them. Nilgai caught on road in Noida. A nilgai was spotted lurking outside Great India Place Mall in Noida as the entire nation cooped up in their homes because of COVID-19 lockdown. The video shows empty roads in Noida Sector 18 and the beautiful nilgai walking freely outside the mall, which is always jam-packed with traffic. The clip shows the animal casually walking, but as soon as it spots the police personnel, it makes a run. It is true that nature heals itself when left unto shade, and this lockdown is an ultimate proof. Flamingus in Albania. The sight of a bird in the wild might not be a big deal for most of us. But when you look at this lake in Albania, you can see that the amount of flamingus in the area is anything but ordinary. After all, some birds enjoy solitude, and just like most other animals, flamingus feel more comfortable when there are no humans around. Authorities reported that there were at least 3,000 flamingus in different lagoons on the country's western coastline. Thousands of them got together at Nata Lagoon, a popular spot that flamingus used for mating, after flying all the way from the African continent and the southern part of the Mediterranean. With no tourists in sight, flamingus have enjoyed the setting without anyone distracting them. According to an environmental expert, the lockdown has made this the time for love, and it's really showing. Wild monkeys in Thailand. Hundreds of hungry monkeys were seen fighting over a single banana in Thailand after coronavirus caused a huge drop in the numbers of tourists who feed them. The primates are normally well fed by tourists in Lopburi, central Thailand, but visitors have plummeted because of the virus lockdown which is gripping the world. The animals were reported to be part of two rival gangs made up of the monkeys who dwell in the city and those from the temple areas, who were fighting over food. The footage shows hundreds of monkeys crossing a road and then chasing a single monkey which has got hold of a banana. But then the noise of their cries increases dramatically as dozens chase a single monkey which seems to have a banana. They are seen jumping on it and others as they fight over the food. Lopburi is home to thousands of wild monkeys that roam the streets and buildings. Bear spotted in Italy. A bear has been spotted wandering the empty streets of Italy amid the coronavirus lockdown. The footage shows the animal sauntering down the streets in Mulvino, northern Italy, possibly on the hunt for food. with most countries enforcing some level of lockdown amid the COVID-19 outbreak. Wild animals are being spotted in cities across the globe. These are difficult times for everyone, and the intention was to bring people joy. Pigeons in Germany. Birds are not only in remote and exotic places. A lot of them are very near to us. If you live in a city, you probably know a park or two where people gather to feed pigeons. So what happens when there are no humans outside to feed them? Well, that's what a German animal rights group is trying to figure out. There are photos of different cities that show pigeons in a lot of random places. Some of them are even inside shopping centers and other buildings, where they normally would not stay for too long. The animal rights group is trying to raise awareness, since the lack of human activities means there are no leftovers or nice people to share food with these birds. What's even worse is that the lockdown happened right in the middle of breeding season, which means that a lot of young birds could die if their parents don't find any food for them. So, if you are in Germany or any other city around the world, don't hold back on your leftovers and share some with the birds. Kashmiri goats in Wales. You might have seen the story about the mountain goats who have reclaimed a town in Wales. Now the streets are empty due to coronavirus. Loads of people were enamored by the goats, who just wanted to expand their territory by claiming land they'd know as their own. In fact, just getting out of bed and brushing your teeth can be considered a huge achievement during these unprecedented times. But no matter how hard we try, nothing we achieve will ever match one man in Wales, who seemingly managed to get a group of goats arrested. Despite making the headlines, it seems the goats had not learned their lesson, and were spotted the very next day still wandering in groups of more than 2. What ensued were days and days worth of clips that prove the goats have essentially taken over now as they continue to roam the almost human-free streets. Conwy Council said there was nothing they could do to stop goats wandering into the town, so just leave them to enjoy. Rhino in Nepal. This is the moment an oblivious pedestrian fails to spot a huge rhino lumbering towards him as he crosses the road. The footage was shot just outside National Park in Nepal after the beast wandered out from the nearby forest. The clip begins showing the animal wandering through the street, seemingly unbothered by its surroundings. It walks past shops and stalls as people in the area gather round to look at the mammal. As it joins another road, a pedestrian is seen coming into view crossing the road. He doesn't appear to notice the animal approaching at all. A voice then shouts at the man to warn him that the rhino is getting close, and he then runs off down the road. The rhino makes a small attempt to follow him, and jogs behind him for a few seconds before losing interest. Cougars in Chile. A wild puma has been filmed stalking the streets of a deserted city which had been placed on lockdown. In the clip, the powerfully built animal takes advantage of the curfew to roam through a car park and public walkway. But spooked by a policeman and a photographer, the beast suddenly breaks into a run, looking panicked while trying to find an escape route in the concrete jungle. It then leaps over a 2-meter-high fence with its powerful back legs, vanishing into someone's garden. The bizarre incident was filmed in the Chilean capital of Santiago, and authorities confirmed they were later able to capture the wild beast, which they said was frightened. Police said it had prowled into a school to try to evade capture, but was safely tranquilized and taken to a zoo where it will be looked after until it can be returned to the wild. Tusker takes a stroll on the road. While humans are confined indoors, wild animals are enjoying their uninterrupted time in the outside world. With vehicle-free roads and unoccupied places, animals have come out to roam around in various human habitats. Like, peacocks were spotted on the streets of Mumbai. Speaking of which, an elephant recently took a leisurely stroll in the suburbs of Dehradun. Yes, you read it right. The giant mammal casually came out for a morning walk on a well-tarred road. The tusker was momentarily interrupted by a milkman riding his bike. However, the elephant peacefully continued with his stroll as the milkman abandoned his motorbike and ran off to a safe place, chirping birds and animals roaming around peacefully on the streets. Wild penguins in South Africa. Things are oddly calm these days in Cape Town, South Africa, as residents remain indoors and off the road in light of the lockdown. 3 African penguins took a leisurely stroll down the quiet streets in South Africa as humans stayed indoors during a national lockdown imposed to contain the spread of the highly infectious coronavirus. On Friday, the Southern African Foundation for the Conservation of Coastal Birds shared a video of the 3 birds exploring the city on social media, delighting millions of viewers. Keeping the penguins safe from harm has become a whole lot easier. African penguins are an endangered species, and human disturbance is one of the biggest threats they face, so this period of quiet must be especially welcome. Fortunately, when things do start to return to normal, rangers like Slayer will continue to be there to help keep them safe. Civet in India. As the entire world seems to have gone into lockdown after the outbreak of lockdown pandemic, planet Earth, stressed by the industrial boom, climate change and globalization, seems to be getting the break it deserved. Pollution levels are low, the ozone layer is healing. But amid all the good news, a barrage of fake news is also coming our way. There was a clip of a civet spotted on a road in Kerala. They are natural to this place. Just that less traffic makes them walk freely now. This one is following zebra crossing also. Deers roaming freely in lockdown. A photograph of a herd of deer lounging on an empty road has been circulating widely on social media, with the claim that it is from the Ooty-Coimbatore highway stretch in Tamil Nadu. The clip is being posted with captions about the wildlife reclaiming public spaces amid a nationwide lockdown. They have returned after decades, possibly because there aren't any humans around to interfere because of the lockdown. Lions in South Africa. A pride of lions has been caught on camera napping on a road in South Africa during the country's coronavirus lockdown. Sooner or later animals were going to notice that the humans had disappeared, and in South Africa's Kruger National Park lions have been taking advantage. This afternoon they were lying on the tar road just outside of Open Rest Camp. These clips were taken by Kruger National Park Ranger Richard Story. What rangers do not want, however, is for lions to start thinking that roads are a safe place just because they are now so still. Thanks for watching. Be sure to give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Also don't forget to subscribe to always be in the top 10 videos world.